morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. My name is Steve Luce, and I am the Land Use Hearing Officer today. Before we get started, if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. You may be seated. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Colleen Marshall from the Development Services staff, and she will introduce the other members of staff that are here this morning. Colleen?
Good morning, Colleen Marshall, Development Services. To my left is Mary Dorman and Jared Delfino in the Hillsborough County Attorney's Office. During the course of the hearing, a number of other staff planners will be presenting their findings for various cases and will be introduced for each item.
Okay, and there are no other changes to this morning's agenda?
No changes.
Okay, very good, thank you. I have a few instructions to read into the record, and then we'll get started with applications that are on the agenda. Our hearing today consists of agenda items that require a public hearing by the Land Use Hearing Officer. I will conduct a hearing on each agenda item and will file a decision within 15 working days after the conclusion of today's hearing. Our hearing will be informal. I will ask questions related to the scope of direct testimony. I may call and question witnesses as I deem appropriate, and I will decide all questions of procedure. I will take evidence, but will exclude evidence that is irrelevant, immaterial, or unduly repetitious. Evidence may be presented in written form, and all testimony must be under oath. Hearsay evidence may be used to supplement or explain other evidence, but shall not be sufficient alone to support a finding by me unless it would be admissible over objections in a civil action. The order of presentation regarding variances is the Development Services presents their staff report and findings, and they have 5 minutes for that purpose. The applicant presents their variance case, and they have 15 minutes for that purpose. And if anyone in the audience wishes to speak in support, they have 15 minutes total. If anyone in the audience wishes to speak in opposition, they have 15 minutes total for that purpose. Then Development Services has an opportunity to amend any changes to their staff report, and they have 5 minutes for that purpose. And finally, the applicant has 5 minutes for rebuttal. There's one special use on the agenda. I will read that order of procedures as well. The applicant has 15 minutes to present their case, so they go first. Then Development Services presents their staff report, and they have 5 minutes for that purpose. If anyone in the audience wishes to speak in support, they have 5 minutes for that, 15 minutes for that purpose. And if anyone in the audience wishes to speak in opposition to the application, they have 15 minutes total for that purpose. Then Development Services has 5 minutes to amend any changes, ask any questions. They have 5 minutes for that purpose. And finally, the applicant has 5 minutes for rebuttal. Regarding the time for proponents in opposition, the 15-minute time frame is the total time for each category. If there are a number of people to speak, we'll add up the total number of people, and the 15 minutes will be divided as equally as possible. You may wish to designate a single spokesperson to more efficiently use the time. When you come up to the podium to speak, please start by giving your name and address for the record. The meeting is being recorded, and we want to make sure we accurately document who is speaking on the record. When you are done speaking, please sign in with the clerk's office with your name, address, and the application number of the agenda item you are speaking to. And the clerk is sitting at the end of the dais, and she'll have a pad where you can sign in. At this point in time, the County Attorney's Office will provide the legal requirements for appealing a decision made by the Land Use Hearing Officer.
Okay. Mary Dorman from the County Attorney's Office. This Land Use Hearing Officer public hearing is for variance and special use requests. This is the time for interested parties to present evidence and testimony. Once the Land Use Hearing Officer has closed a case, the record of that case is also closed, and no new evidence regarding that case may be submitted thereafter. Any decision by the Land Use Hearing Officer may be appealed to the Land Use Appeals Board. Should a decision be appealed, the record evidence, including the testimony presented at this public hearing, shall be the only evidence that is subject to review by the Land Use Appeals Board. In reaching a final decision on petitions, the Land Use Appeals Board will only consider the decision of the Land Use Hearing Officer and the record evidence, including any evidence from this public hearing. If an appeal is filed, the Land Use Appeals Board hearing shall consist of oral argument by the party appealing the decision, county staff, and any interveners, each of whom may be represented by legal counsel. The following shall have standing to appeal a decision of the Land Use Hearing Officer or to intervene in an appeal. 1, the applicant, or 2, anyone who appeared before the Land Use Hearing Officer, presented testimony or other evidence, and is adversely affected by the decision of the Land Use Hearing Officer. It is the role of the county's attorney's office to ensure that no new evidence or testimony is allowed before the Land Use Appeals Board that was not presented to the Land Use Hearing Officer at today's hearing. The county attorney's office will recommend that the Land Use Appeals Board disregard evidence or testimony that is outside the record made at today's public hearing. Any evidence presented to the Land Use Appeals Board that is outside the record could jeopardize the legality of the Land Use Appeals Board decision, and the presenter of that evidence could hurt their own cause. The safest course of action, then, is for you to write down any comments you make today and repeat them to the Land Use Appeals Board.
Okay, thank you. All testimony today will be provided under oath. Therefore, if you wish to speak, please stand and raise your right hand so I may swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. Okay, Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the first application.
Today's agenda, we have no vested rights, fee waivers, remands, or reconsideration requests, which brings us to Section F, Site Development Variance Request. Item F1, Variance 260149. The applicant is Eric and LaJoyce Houston. The request is a variance to encroach into the wetland setback. Staff findings will be presented by Wayne Doyen.
Okay,
Good morning, sir.
good morning.
This is Wayne Doyen, Hillsborough County Development Services. This is variance application 26-0149. Request summary: the applicant is requesting a variance from the 30-foot wetland conservation area setback requirement, section 4.01.07.b.4 of the Land Development Code. The applicant's specific request, as shown on the site plan submitted on 10/30/2025, is to allow for encroachment for a single-family residential structure to be within the 30-foot wetland conservation area setback. Requested variance, LEC section 4.01.07.b.4, LDC requirement: no filling, excavating, or placement of permanent structures or other impervious surfaces shall be allowed within required 30-foot wetland conservation area setback. Variance: 25-foot max encroachment for a single-family residential structure in the wetland conservation area setback. Result: 5-foot remaining setback. Findings: a wetland setback compensation plan has been provided on the site plan dated 10/30/2025, which provides compensation plannings for the encroachment into the wetland conservation area setback.
Okay, thank you, sir. At this point in time, the applicant.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I suppose you already have the information request for the...
Sir, if you could, before we get started, state your name and address for the record.
Eric Houston, 11349 Indy Drive, Riverview, Florida, 33569.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you wish to provide any testimony in support of your application?
Yes, as explained, the encroachment is for new home construction. Because of the layout and foundation, it would require being placed 25 feet into the setback of the wetland. It's not going to affect anything else. In fact, it'll protect the wetland further with the house being there because it's a downhill lot. It'll prevent further washout and erosion into the wetland area.
Okay, You're the contractor?
No, I'm the owner.
You're the owner, okay. And you're working with a contractor on the design?
Yes, my brother-in-law, he's a contractor. He'll be working, building the house.
Okay. And to get to this point where you've located the house on the property, how did you arrive at the decision as to where to put the house?
Well, it's in the upland in the front, and the wetland extends all the way because, like I said, of the layout of the foundation, it's going to, we also have to have a setback from the road. So between setback from the road and setback from the wetland, it didn't leave enough area in between to build the house. So it has to go into the wetland setback area.
Okay. All right, understood. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, I need you to sign in. At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? See no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. I do have a question. Does EPC get copied or sent the application? And do they typically weigh in on variances?
Good morning. Yes, during my process, I send it to EPC, and their comment always is it's not in the wetlands. So
Okay.
that's why we're going to do the compensation plannings and, make sure, get the best protection we can.
Okay. Do you send the planting mitigation plan to EPC for their input, or?
We go off the wetland mitigation plan that came from EPC, so there's a list of plantings that they can choose from, and that's all approved by my office.
Okay. All right, thank you. At this point in time, the applicant has 5 minutes for rebuttal. Sir, anything further? Okay. All right, very good. Thank you, sir. With that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
There are no sign variance requests, which brings us to Section H, variance request. Item H1, variance 25-1312. The applicant is Luisa I. Alonso. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be presented by Logan McCaig.
Okay.
Good morning. Logan McCaig, Development Services, variance 25-1312. The applicant is requesting a variance to accommodate a front porch on the existing home. Per LEC section 60101, 6010103, and I-7, front porches may project into the required front yard no more than 10 feet or 50% of the required front yard setback, whichever is less. In the RSC 6 zoning district, requires a 25-foot front yard setback, therefore a 15-foot front yard setback is required for the front porch. The applicant is requesting a 6.8-foot variance, resulting in a setback of 8.2 feet for the front porch. During review, it was found there is an open code compliance violation, HC CMP 24000134. Available for any questions.
Sorry, question for you is the code violation item, is that related to this variance item?
Yes, that is related to the front porch.
Okay, all right, thank you. At this point in time, the applicant, please. Okay. Again, this is variance 25-1312. Is the applicant here? I don't see the applicant in the audience. I don't see the applicant online, as far as I can tell. Ms. Marshall, do you have any suggestions what we should do with this item at this point in time?
If If you want to continue it to later on the agenda, we can reach out and see if we can get them.
Okay. Let's hold this item in abeyance, and at the end of all the other agenda items this morning, we'll come back and revisit this one, and we'll see where we are at that point in time.
The next item is item H2, variance 251359. The applicant is Magella Publes. The request is a variance to fence requirements and variance to accessory structure standards. And I'll present the staff findings.
Okay?
The applicant's requesting an 11-foot variance to the required 15-foot front yard on the front yard functioning as a side yard to allow a 4-foot front yard setback for an accessory structure. Variance of 2 feet is requested to the maximum fence height of 4 feet in the front yard, resulting in a 6-foot high fence in the front yard. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, no questions. Thank you. The applicant, please. Morning.
Good morning. My name is Magella Publes, and I am the owner of 806 Gateway Lane, Tampa, Florida, 33613.
Okay.
The reason that I'm asking for this variance is just considering a couple of changes that have happened. Most recently, I bought the home, just to give you a little bit of history, back in May 2017, had it for 9 years. My dad just passed away in October, and I have to take care of my mother. My mother was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and I have moved her into my home. However, I work for HR, and I have to give up my office space to give to my mom and a medical nurse that comes in for 10 hours a week. And so my lot does allow for space, and so I wanted to keep the integrity of the principle of the home, and so I thought, why not get a shed? And so I purchased a shed from Tampa Sheds, and they placed the shed 4 feet from the fence according to the codes that the city has imposed. There's no dwelling. I don't need a kitchen. In addition, I'm giving up the space in my home to my kids and my mom so I can actually keep my job that I've been there for 12 years, like I said. Also, 4 years ago, I opened up a business called Advanced Group NPR, and that is a janitorial and custodial commercial business. It has taken a few years to ramp up, but I was just awarded to government entities to be able to provide commercial and janitorial services. And so I'm just trying to use the land that I have for my additional space to be able to practice my job and then also maintain my business. I have been called out a couple of times about my job because my mother does come out sometimes on videos, and so that space is really for me to be able to continue with my livelihood and still take care of my mother. In our culture, we don't place our parents in homes. So that is why I'm asking for this minor variance. Granting me this will allow me to be able to maintain the business that I work so hard to ramp up and also be able to maintain my mom inside my home. And that concludes my information.
Chad,
There's no kitchen.
is it on?
Me? Oh,
Okay. All right, thank you. Just for the record then, sorry for that. It is just an office and shed? There's no kitchen, no bathroom?
correct. No
Okay.
kitchen, no bathroom. My home has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths.
Okay,
Yes. The principal home. So the shed does not need any kitchen or any bathroom.
okay, understood. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, at this point in time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in support of the application? And if you could sign in over at the clerk. I see no one responding. Yes, sir, in support?
No, it's for disagreement. I'm sorry, I got tapped over there. Is it time to call for disagreement?
Yes, sir, come on up. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Yes, sir, you may come forward.
Yeah. Hi, Jeff Bishaga, 14031 Capitol Drive. I live down the street from the property. I saw the good morning, everybody, by the way. I saw the advertisement for the variance request. I respectfully disagree with this variance. I don't think that this is, anyway, I just respectfully disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I see here, and I'm just going through the material that was all within the county records. It says a licensed electrician was hired. I've understood it was not a licensed electrician. I also understand there was plumbing put into this facility. I also understand that it was verbalized by the property owner that this was going to be used as a rental, as an Airbnb, and we have, yeah, so I think that the variance, what this is going to, and without being a land expert, it seems like it's a lot looser in terms of criteria. This is a residential neighborhood. It's completely built out. This would be the third structure on that property. There's the home, there's a shed. Very, very often, this is referred to as a shed in this application. But if you hear what is happening, it is not a shed. It is a building. It actually resembles something that I would call a tiny house that I would probably put on land and I would live in. It has 2 windows that overlook neighbors that are not within the property line. It has a porch and it has a light. And there was an eyewitness testimony that said they saw plumbing dug into the structure. So I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know if we can enter that in or not. But to me, you know, if it looks like a duck, quacks and talks like it's a duck.
Okay.
So that's my opinion.
All right.
I respectfully disagree with this. And I have a neighbor that I drove here. Did you want to speak at all? Also, yeah. Well, I'll yield the rest of the time over to the other gentleman. But I will say that there are myself, and I think there are 4 or 5 other people that also disagree with this variance. Thank
Okay.
you. Jeff Bishaga, thank you.
All right, sir, if I get you to sign in with the clerk's office. Okay? Next, sir.
Good morning. Mr. John Lutkus, 810 Gateway Lane, Tampa, Florida, 33613. I'm opposed to this only because the building is almost like a commercial building. It's not a shed. She has a small shed behind the house, but this is a big building and it's metal. If she wants to build an office, she should get a regular contractor out there and put an extension on a house like everybody else does. Yeah. Also, she states in there that it's not going to be used for any plumbing. I visually saw her boyfriend dig a trench, lay a pipe for a sewer pipe and connect to the sewer, bury it the same next day, did not have it inspected, did not have it tested. If we're going to do things, we got to do them right. I'm retired military for 20 years. I do what's right, and that's the way it goes. I've done it my whole life, and everybody else should do the same thing. I don't think that she should have any special privileges. Yep. I made the initial call when they brought that building in to county code, and the county code referred it to these other people and now this land use, it's just strictly for variance on the fence. I think the building should be gone.
Okay,
So
understood.
that's my opinion.
All right, thank you. Thank you,
Sure.
sir. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in opposition?
Sir, John, can we read in the 4 other people that also disagree with this? I can read them, or you could read them.
I've got the 4 other neighbors in right around the same area that can't make it today, but they're opposed to the thing. Do I have to read them off, or?
Do you have anything in writing from them?
I've got them all. They all signed them. They all wrote it out.
Okay, just sure,
Their name and addresses.
just into the record, state their name and address.
Sure, okay. Mr. Mike Sloan and Jennifer Miller, 809 Gateway Lane. Orlando, and I can't pronounce her last name, it's Haydie-Grildo, 804 Gateway Lane, next door neighbors to her. They oppose of it. Nancy Rodriguez, Angel Rodriguez, 812 Gateway Lane. John and Mary Miller, 802 Congress Court.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, does anyone else in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, applicant, an opportunity for rebuttal.
In regards to the dwelling, there has never been any dwelling in my home. We paid a company that came in and did sprinkles, a set of sprinkles in my home. I pay $50 a month to maintain my yard. I also brought pictures of the before and after the shed. I understand their concerns. He is my neighbor across the way from Gateway Lane. He also has a boat that's out there that I don't like to look at. And it's outside his fence. We are dealing with a lot of things in our community where people are turning their homes into efficiencies. I don't know if I'm going to be forever in that home, right? So I don't want to ruin the integrity and the principle of the home.
Okay.
I'm not sure where they're getting the information that I'm going to rent, but I don't have an opportunity or time to rent. However, I do have pictures that I've also submitted of across the way from the older gentleman here, Mr. Military, which thank you for your time, sir. He has a whole rental property that has parties every week, and they take up Gateway Lane, which is right in the corner. I'm in a special lot, right? I have a front yard, a side yard, and a backyard. This gentleman went around in the morning yesterday, and all the neighbors called me to let me know that he was gaining opposition to come here, which I respect. But my role is not to ruin the integrity of the community. Mm-hmm. I don't need additional income. I need additional space. I do have 2 contractors that came out, and to be able to extend my home and add addition, which money I know is not a factor that you guys consider, but it takes over $100,000 versus a shed that I bought for $11,000 from a reputable company that has been making prefabricated sheds for 30 years. And it came with a wet seal with all the codes of the city that allows me to have it in my home. Okay. Across the way from him, there's basically a dealership with 3 sheds. They have converted their home, closed the garage, and there's 9 cars there, which I also have pictures of that. In my home, you will always find the same 4 cars. And I don't have a boyfriend, sir. I have a fiance, and we're getting married next year in May of 2027.
Yeah. Ma'am, could you just clarify the testimony from one of the gentlemen in opposition?
Yes.
Was that there was plumbing. And I think your response was that that's an irrigation
It is an
sprinkler
irrigation system. Yes.
And you do not have plumbing inside the
We do
structure?
not have plumbing. You can
Okay.
have an inspector come
Okay.
out. We do have electrical, and we paid a licensed electrician, and I have that receipt from Thumbtack, which is an app that I use to be able to hire contractors because I don't know a single thing about any of
Okay.
that.
Understood.
Yes. So rumors can turn into something that is not. These folks have never knocked on my door, yet they knocked on everybody's door yesterday around 8 o'clock in the morning, and my neighbors let me know.
All right, very good. I understand. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Let me know if you see any additional pictures.
Okay. Okay, with that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H3, variance 260018. The applicant is Elazar Garza Zapata. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be presented by Sierra James.
Good morning, Sierra James
Good
with
morning.
Development Services. The applicant is seeking a variance to the front porch standards in 60103 I-7. The front porches may project into the required front yard no more than 10 feet, In the AS1 zoning district, the required front yard is 50 feet. The applicant is requesting a variance of 5.5 feet, resulting in a 15.5-foot intrusion into the front yard. I'm available for any questions at this time.
Okay, no questions, thank you. The applicant, please. Good morning.
Morning, sir. My name is Eleazar Garza Zapata. I live on 11905 by 3 Drive. He's my neighbor, Omar Cervantes. He lives on my next door. I don't know if he can help me with my translate.
I think that's acceptable, that's fine.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir.
I construct a couple times my front porch. I ignore that variance, but I consider that not have peligro.
Danger.
State your name and address for the record.
My name is Omar Cervantes. My address is 11905.
No.
903, I'm his neighbor. It's Bay Tree Drive, Riverview, Florida, 33569. He constructed his porch, and his request is to allow the porch stand, because if he destroys it, it's going to cost more money, and it's no danger to the house or any sidewalk entrance or any entrance that he or other people may need. His problem is that if he destroys the porch, it's going to cost more money than if he just keeps it like that. And if he destroys it, it's going to cost more money for him to look for someone to destroy it, to remove all the posts and everything that he dug.
Okay. All right, anything else?
¿Algo más?
Considero que no hay peligro
Ajá.
y no afecta en los caminos principales para
Para entrar y salir.
entrar y salir en caso de una emergencia.
Yeah, like I said before, there's no danger to the roads to come in or leave in case of an emergency. The porch is solid. It was constructed by this, what's called a professional contractor, and there's no danger for the house. The porch is constructed solidly, and the roads that come in and out of the house, they're clear. There's no blockage anywhere. So in
Tengo
case,
fotos.
he has pictures also. I think he sent them to you. ¿Se los mandaste ahí?
No.
No, he didn't send this.
The county has just the planes, los planos.
The county only has the plans, but he took pictures of it. If you guys need pictures.
Perhaps we can use this overhead projector that's right here.
Come up. Like that?
Yeah, I can see it.
That's one of them. Here's the other one. This is the side, like I was saying. The roads are clear. There's the road right here, and there's our other road right here. They're clear. He comes in and out every morning to go to work. His wife does the same thing. Here's the last one. Here's the other side of the road, like I was saying. The other side, everything's clear. The only thing is the plan that he has there, but everything's clear in case of an emergency. And this is the last one, but everything's clear. He has his plants on the side of the porch, and everything is clear on the roadway.
Okay. All right, if you could, when you sign in at the end of this item, also give the pictures to the clerk,
Okay,
so she'll make sure I get them.
okay. Las fotos, dame. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? I see no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? I see no one responding. All right, staff, anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and sir, you have an opportunity for rebuttal Any other comments? All right, very good, thank you. With that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H4, variance 260083. The applicant is Kelly Gutierrez. The request is a variance to lot development standards and swimming pool requirements. Staff findings will be presented by Carol Ann Peddle.
Okay.
Good morning. Carol Ann Peddle, Development Services. Again, this is variance 260083. The applicant is requesting a variance to swimming pool requirements and to lot development standards. Per section 611-94B1, swimming pool enclosure shall be by a screened mesh structure without a solid roof that is attached to the primary building, may intrude into the rear yard and side yard provided a minimum setback of 3 feet is provided. A variance request of 3 feet is requested, resulting in a side yard setback of 0 feet for the screen enclosure. Under the same section, a request for 2.2 feet is resulting in a rear yard setback of 0.8 feet for the screen enclosure. Under section 60101, a minimum 5-foot yard setback is required in the RSC 9 zoning district. A variance request of 4.9 feet is requested, resulting in a side yard setback of 0.1 feet for the covered patio. Under section 60103I4 and section 60101, covered patios may intrude no more than 13 feet into the required rear yard. In no case shall the permitted intrusion of the covered patio reduce the yard provided to less than 10 feet. A minimum 20-foot rear yard setback is required in the RSC 9 zoning district. Therefore, a 10-foot rear yard setback is required for the covered patio. A request of 9.1 feet variance is requested, resulting in a rear yard setback of 0.9 feet for the covered patio. Additionally, the applicant has confirmed that the 2 covered areas towards the front of the home on the north and south have been removed, and that has been noted on the survey as well.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
The applicant, please.
Hello, this is Kelly Gutierrez. I'm here on behalf of a homeowner, Osmel Ruiz, that also is in the call.
Okay.
Just wanted to add that.
Ma'am, can you state your address for the record?
Hello?
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
can you hear us? Kelly,
Hello?
are you hearing us? Hello?
Hello?
We can hear you.
Hello?
Kelly, go ahead. If
Kelly-
you can hear us, Kelly, go
State
ahead.
your name and address for the record.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you, but we can't, you don't seem to be able to hear us.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
Mr. Chair, can I contact her outside of, and try to get her to hear us?
Yes. Why don't we, like one earlier on the agenda, we'll hold this one in abeyance. Perhaps after the next item, we'll come back to this one.
Okay, hello, I can hear you now.
Oh, all right.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, all right. You
Sorry.
stated your name, but you could state your address for the record as well.
Yes, 6819 Robbinswood Lane.
All right, go ahead and proceed.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all right.
Okay, so I'm here representing the homeowner who's in the call as well. Basically, we're trying to, whatever was built after, there was a pool installed previously before the home was purchased. The home was purchased with a pool, which was already within an easement. We did the easement vacate to get everything in order. There's a screen enclosure and there's some patio added. Then on the back of the home, there's no one. There's no neighbors in the back, just on the side. Both the structures, can you hear me? Are
Yes.
we good? Okay, both the structures on the side have been removed. It's just the screen enclosure that cannot be removed. It's a big screen enclosure, and it does and that's why we're trying to get this, this variance, so we don't have to remove everything. The homeowner has, young preteen, teenager kids, and he in a way built a safe space where they can, spend time, study, gather, instead of being outside, especially with, the area not being so safe nowadays. I would like to, if possible, invite Osmel to, comment on this, if it's available, because I know he's at work and took some time to be at this meeting.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, I sent then all of it, or which part you didn't?
No, just who, you want somebody else to be able to speak?
The homeowner, which is on the call.
Yes, that's fine.
Osmel Martin. I would love for him to talk
Okay.
regarding, well,
All right, very good.
he took some time from work. He's at work, so he might be brief, but he's here.
All right. Go ahead.
Hi, hello. My name is Osmel Martinez, and as she say, I did that portion. It was on the screen. It was just to protect my family, because we have a water channel in the back, and I have a lot of mosquito at that time, and when it's raining or something like that, it's a lot of mosquito, and I put that screen because of that, and plus I did for protect my family, my kid, because they are, they want dance, bring their friends to my house, and I don't want them to be, outside because of, the bad situation about, whatever, but drugs and everything, and I have 4 kids, not 3. I have 4, but I have one that is big, that is 25 right now, 25 years old. But I got that house for in 12 years ago, and I built that like maybe 9, 8 years ago, and never never have an issue and problem. And at the same time, that structure never doesn't affect anybody, because I don't have a neighbor in the back, and it was just to protect my family, because I have my whole family right here, and I have old people in my family too that they go to my house almost every week to spend time with me, and and it's just to protect my family and being with them. It's not just to live in. Okay.
All right, got it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, can you state your full address for the record?
6819 Robbinswood Lane, Tampa, Florida 33634.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? See no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. Staff, just if you could clarify for me, is that the roof overhang? It doesn't go across the entire rear of the backyard. It doesn't go over the pool. It's just in one corner of the lot. That's my understanding.
Correct.
Okay. And I think I want to make that clear for the record. And that the 2 covered walkways on the north and south sides have been removed.
Yes, they have.
Okay. All right, understood. All right, and the applicant, you have an opportunity for any final comments, rebuttal?
No, I believe that would be all.
Okay.
Like he stated, everything is in order, in a way that doesn't affect anybody, which is the most important thing. No water runoff to other sides. Everything is there for his family, and it was built a long time ago, never had any issues whatsoever. Also, the vacate V250003 has been approved, meaning the pool that was on the easement is no longer there. So those 10 feet of easement has been completely removed as well.
All right, very good. Thank you, ma'am. All right, with that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, ready for the next item.
Next item is item H5, variance 260099. The applicant is Tiffany Lean. The request is a variance to the minimum lot size by available utilities. Staff findings will be presented by Orlando Boris.
Okay. Morning.
Morning, this is Orlando Borras with Development Services. This is variance 26-0099. As it was already stated, the applicant is seeking a variance to reduce the minimum upland requirements for the use of septic. In this case, it's going to be resulting in one parcel with 0.20 acres of upland, and then the second one will be resulting with 0.29 acres of upland. It's also worth to mention that the applicant is looking to split the property, so one of the parcels can actually be in compliance with the zoning district, which, by the way, it's going to be RSC 6. And in addition to that, the applicant has obtained a septic system from the health department from Florida. I don't know if you have any other questions, but more than happy to help you and answer them.
I've had a similar case in the past, and I think, Ms. Marshall, you helped me with this, is that there's a policy or our new land development code regulation that deals with being able to use septic on lots.
Correct. The first and second split of a parent parcel can, within the urban service area, can be can utilize septic, but then they are still subject to the this section of the code.
Okay.
Unless they seek the variance.
But that new land development code language, is it applicable to this situation?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is in the urban service area.
Okay. All right. No other questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Volume up, and you turn yours down and see if you can hear better, because
Okay, at this point in time, the applicant, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tiffany Lane, 9912 and 9916 Alafaya Vista Drive, Gibsonton, Florida, 33534.
Okay, you have any?
Yeah, so we're just trying, so the properties are already split. We're just trying to shift the south land line south to make the vacant land a little bit bigger to be able to meet the requirement of 7,000 square feet, which currently it is 4,750 square feet, so it doesn't meet the requirement to be able to build a single-family home on it. We had a survey done on the property, and if we did shift the land line to where it is already fenced in, it would give us just over 8,000 square feet to be able to build a home on it. We have got approval from the health department for a septic system, so we would like the variance to be able to move forward to shift the land line and build the home.
Okay, to be clear, you got sign off from the health department for septic tank on both lots, right? Well, one's already there, right?
Yes,
So-
one's already there.
Right.
It's been there for
Right.
25 years.
Okay. And do you have a well or do you have public water?
We have city water, yeah.
Okay, city water. All right.
Okay.
No other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am, I get you to sign in, please?
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of this application? See no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to this application? See no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. And applicant, an opportunity for rebuttal? Okay, no need for rebuttal. With that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, ready for the next item.
Next item is item H6, variance 260134. The applicant is Melva Rodriguez. The request is a variance to lot development standards. Staff findings will be provided by Sierra James.
Good morning, Sierra James with Development
Morning.
Services. The applicant is seeking a variance to the front and side yard setbacks. In the RSC 6 zoning district, the required front yard is 25 feet and the side yard is 7.5 feet. The applicant is requesting a variance of 5.14 feet, resulting in a 19.86-foot front yard setback, and a variance of 4.68 feet, resulting in a 2.82 side yard setback. I'm available for any questions at this time.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the applicant, please.
Good morning. My name is Melba
Morning.
Rodriguez, 4201 West Hamilton Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33614. I'm an applicant. I'm representing the owner.
Okay.
I have this little site plan here.
Okay.
You can see, sorry. You can see this area right here. He guided the porch that, this is the new area that we're talking about, and the front part as well, but this part, the house was given to him that way, so there's no, way around it. And this area right here, he built this based on this part right here that it was given to him when he purchased the home back in '24.
I'm sorry, could you clarify the area that you've crosshatched in red?
This
What is that?
area?
Yes?
It's like a laundry or some storage area that it was built when he purchased already.
Okay, and your point is that it's currently encroaching into the side yard setback?
Yeah, well, he actually went by, like, he made this part right here based on this line, so he didn't know that he was actually in the
Okay.
setback, in the setback.
Okay,
And the purchase of and this area right here, he purchased the house as it is. I mean, he built some stuff there, but this property was the structure that is still there from 1950s. So they remodeled it, whoever did, the previous owner, and they did some stuff apparently, and he went by this side. That's why.
all right, understood.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else?
No, he knows that, I mean, what he did, some of it was incorrect, so
Okay.
we just want to see if it can be approved.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? Is no one responding? Anyone in the audience wishes to speak in opposition to the application? Is no one responding? Staff, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. Applicant, opportunity for rebuttal? Good. All right, thank you. That concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H7, variance 260148. The applicant is Peter McConaughey. The request is a variance to landscaping and buffering requirements. I'll present the staff findings.
Okay.
The applicant's seeking a variance to the rural scenic roadways requirement to allow a fence within the scenic easement area along the perimeter of the single-family residential development on West Knights Griffin Road. The variance would allow a 6-foot-high fence within the 30-foot rural scenic easement. I can answer any questions.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you.
The applicant, please.
Good morning, Mr. Luce, staff. Todd Amadon, Landmark Engineering, 8515 Palm River Road in Tampa. I'm representing the applicant, Miranda Homes. Also, we have a representative from Miranda Homes, Chris Torres, is here as the builder developer if you have any questions.
Okay.
Mr. Luce, pretty simple request. I think staff's done a good job summarizing it. This is a rural scenic corridor, requires a 30-foot undisturbed buffer. And the construction plans and the draft final plat, it's on an easement, it's a protected one, simply an issue of safety. I believe that all these other developments that you see in subdivisions that back up to a collector or arterial road, there's safety issues. There's issues with pedestrians, bicyclists, vehicles, trash. We do wish to maintain the 30-foot rural buffer in that easement, as we talked about, but simply a 6-foot fence for safety purposes. And the owner did compromise a bit. Instead of a solid fence, we're talking about a semi-private fence. We looked at some other fences in the area, and a split rail fence or something may be more in character with a rural, but it just doesn't provide the security that a 6-foot semi-private fence would. So,
If you could, is there an example of, we say semi-private fence, at 4 months from now, somebody knows what that means?
there's a picture in the application. I just don't have it with me.
Okay.
And I can resubmit that if needed be.
That's fine. It's in the record somewhere.
It's in the record, and I won't regurgitate the 6 variance criteria. They all apply to it, so I'm here to answer any questions you have, Mr. Luce.
All right. Was there any discussions about, I think you're dedicating right-of-way for the future
Yes.
enhancements of the roadway.
Turn lanes, if that's an enhancement, yes.
Were there any opportunity to put landscaping in the right-of-way?
No, not really. You know, in a rural area like that, you have the turn lane, you have the minimum required ditch, which is a 19-foot ditch, 4 to 1 side slopes, 3 foot bottom, 4 to 1 up, 19 feet, 2 foot flat, 5 foot sidewalk, 2 foot flat, and you want some type of, you rarely put landscaping in the right of way
Okay,
anyway.
so
So we have this buffer, and we'll respect the buffer. A lot of times in a different subdivision, you may see a hedge behind the sidewalk or some planting or
Right.
some shade trees.
Right.
This, we just simply want a 6-foot fence for security. Quite honestly, I'm surprised it requires a variance. I think it should be optional. We talked about moving the buffer 1 or 2 feet off the right-of-way. Can't do that. Can't put the fence in the right-of-way. It's not your fence, it's our fence. So it's pretty simple calculation.
And the depth of those lots, you talked about
150-foot minimum, and we're reserving the rear 30 feet in an easement for the natural state. You put the fence on the other side of the easement, on the lot side, the private side, instead of the public side. You're restricting the use of it. And again, you're just kind of opening up that right-of-way. Just feel kind of it's the best compromise.
All right. You thought about moving the fence back 2 feet, 3 feet to put in bushes in front of the fence?
Sure, that makes it within the buffer as opposed to on the edge of the 30-foot
Yeah.
buffer. We can do that. I don't know what, I guess I know what the spirit of the code says, but not the letter. What is the purpose of the buffer for the individuals, or is it for the public right-of-way, or
probably
both or
both.
neither? Probably both. So I don't think that a fence is unreasonable. There's fences, again, up and down that road. They're more of a split rail nature. But
Okay.
doing the semi-private fence, I think, was we need 6 feet. Kids are playing. The soccer ball doesn't go into the road. The bicyclist doesn't have the pedestrian doesn't have free access to the rear of those private lots.
Understood. It's just that it's a very rural area, and your client's here?
Yes.
Do they have any objections to setting back that fence? What do you think is a reasonable distance, 2 feet, for plants to survive?
Are you suggesting that within the 30 feet, we move the fence back 2, 3, 5 feet and plant?
Yeah, 2 feet, 3 feet, maybe at the most?
Yeah, there's no objection to that.
Okay. All right, you have the power of your client to say that. That's fine.
I do.
Okay. All right, thank you. If you have no objections, I would like to go in that direction.
Sure.
And if staff or the county attorney's office doesn't have a problem with conditioning this variance, I'd like to be able to consider that as an option.
I think if the property owner is volunteering to do that, that you may consider that. I don't know that the county would ask the owner to do that, however.
Right. Okay. I think he has.
We have, indeed.
Okay. And this the client?
Go ahead.
Good morning. For the record, Chris Torres of Miranda Homes.
Yes.
I am the client. I have no problem setting the fence back a couple feet.
All right. Let's do 2 feet, if that's acceptable.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? I see no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? I see no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Just wanted to clarify for when you're reviewing the case, the The photograph of the example of the fence is in the correspondence folder in the optics application file.
Okay. All right. All right, applicant opportunity for rebuttal?
Nothing further.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, with that, that concludes this application, and Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H8, variance 260176. The applicant is Kevin McNamara. The request is a variance to lot development standards, and I'll present staff findings. The applicant's requesting variances to allow for a home to be rebuilt on the property. A variance of 1 foot 2 1/4 inches is requested to the required 25-foot front yard setback to allow a 23-foot 7 3/4 inch front yard setback. A variance of 11 feet is requested to the required 25-foot rear yard setback to allow a 14-foot rear yard setback. Happy to answer any questions.
No questions? The applicant, please. Morning.
Good morning, sir. Yeah, my name is Kevin McNamara, and my home is at 3905 Americana Drive, Tampa. I was one of the homeowners in Dana Shores that got flooded in the Helena, and I've lived there since basically 1993. In 1994, I did build a room addition with permits with the county that exists there now. And basically, we're just putting the structure, the new structure, in the same footprint as the existing structure.
Okay. Where are you in terms of redeveloping the lot after the hurricane?
We're at the point now where once we get a variance, we should be, our permit's been here for a while.
Okay.
And we'll be getting the permit, as soon as you make your decision.
All right, so did you have to tear down the entire structure?
I haven't teared anything down until we get this finalized.
Okay, you didn't want to tear anything down until you got your permits?
Yeah, because basically, we're just putting it right back in the same spot.
Okay.
And elevating it to 14 feet above, so if I get a flood, I don't go under again.
So when you do get your permits, do you have to tear down the whole house to?
Yeah, I gotta tear the whole house down.
To get it up above finished floor elevation?
Correct. So the house needs to come down because a couple reasons. The footer system on it, there's a lot of erosion under the footer system of the house from the storm.
Okay.
And the other part is we can't do anything with the house. That's why we didn't repair, because it's full of mold. And we did clean it up. We took everything out like we were supposed to, but it's uninhabitable at this point.
All right. Okay, so understand, because so you have to bring it up like 12 feet or roughly, or?
Well, what's there now is basically going right back in the same place.
Okay.
Originally it was a 14-foot setback. It's now like 15 and a half feet because there was some seawall repair done work between 94 and this time now, which makes it a little greater because the seawall goes out about 18 inches, which would put it 15 and a half feet. As far as the timeline, it was really important to me because I've been out of the house 15 months.
Right. But if you could put on the record that the existing house is built at street level, roughly?
Yeah, street level.
All right, and if the new house, when completed, it'll be X feet above street level?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, it'd be roughly
13 feet.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be garage underneath.
Yep. All right, I got the picture.
Yeah.
All right, understood. Anything else?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, this is important. On my street, their setback for the buildings are actually from the seawall back to the structure. On the other street, which is Versailles, is right directly across me, 150 feet away. They use the center of the canal for their setback. We look through the plats, and and I've sat with Jim Blank, and I showed Jimmy, and then Jimmy's like, that doesn't make any sense. How can the adjacent property owners that are bulkheaded just like I am,
right,
150 feet across the canal from me, could actually build 5 feet from the seawall if they wanted to, or right up against it.
Right.
And I look back in a little bit of history, and I have some stuff I could probably share with you. that shows other structures there that are much closer to where mine is and close to the number that I'm asking for.
Right. Okay.
So that's it.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
All right.
Make sure you sign in.
Thank you. Oh. Sorry about that.
That's all right. At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? Is no one responding? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay. And sir, an opportunity for rebuttal. Sir, anything further? All right, very good. With that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H9, variance 260187. The applicant is Manini Gautam Kumar. The request is a variance to accessory dwelling requirements and variance to accessory structure requirements. Staff findings will be provided by Logan McCaig.
Okay.
Good morning, Logan McCaig Development Services, variance 260187. The applicant is requesting a variance to a side yard setback for an existing accessory dwelling and an existing accessory structure. Per LEC section 611-102E and 60101, accessory dwelling shall meet the principal building setbacks. A 15-foot side yard setback is required for the AS1 district. The applicant is requesting a variance of 11 feet, resulting in a 4-foot side yard setback for the accessory dwelling. Per section 61104 and 60101, accessory structures exceeding 15 feet in height shall meet the principal building setbacks. Again, a 15-foot side yard setback is required for the AS1 district. Applicant is requesting a 9-foot setback, resulting in a 9-foot variance, resulting in a 6-foot side yard setback for the accessory structure. During review, code compliance citation HCCMP 25-000-00041 was issued for the subject property.
And do you know what that was for?
Which one of the two buildings?
The code citation.
Yes, it was for the setbacks related to, I'm not certain if it was for one particular building or both buildings together, but it was for the
setbacks.
property.
Okay, got it. Thank you. At this point in time, the applicant, please.
Good morning, member. Good
Morning.
morning, chairs. My name is Gautam Kumar Ramaneni, and my property address 6620 Graceway Road.
Okay.
And I'm here, I'm requesting approval to setback variance for my accessory structure and metal building located in my property. I'm the new property owner for this property. I purchased this property on July 2024. When I was purchasing this property, all the structures are located within the property, and I got the violation, and right away I contacted the violation inspector to get all these structures into the county's compliance. And,
Sir, if you could, when did you buy the property?
July 2024.
July 2024.
Yep.
And do we have any evidence as to when those structures
I'm sorry?
were placed? Do we have any evidence, proof of when those structures were placed on the property?
After I purchased the property, I made minor repairs for the backside structure. Then I got the violation, but I have the survey report that.
Okay, I want to know when those structures were first put on the property.
I was exactly not sure, because as per the Google report, it is showing that those structures present since 2019.
I'm not quite sure that answers my questions. You don't know then when those structures were placed on the property?
Yes.
When were they put on the property?
Sir, can I answer for this? I'm
she's
the
my
wife, and
wife.
I'm the co-owner on the property.
Yes?
Sorry, good morning, everybody. My name is Vaishali Gandhi, and I'm the co-owner on the property, 6620 Great Sweat Road. We purchased this property in July. Like I said, back in 2024, the structures were already on the property, so we are not sure when the structures were built in. It was probably done by the previous owner or the prior owner to the owner.
Okay, so when you bought the property, those structures were there?
Yes, sir. They were already on the property, on the land.
Okay. Okay, have you done any research on your own to find out when those permits were pulled for those structures?
Yes, I did send, after I purchased the property, I did send an email to county requesting any permits available in the county records, but unfortunately they said none of the permits are, even for the main structure, they don't have any permits. So then I was starting getting all the permits for the properties, yeah. I applied for the permit application, everything to county.
Okay, all right. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt with questions, but I just want to understand when it was purchased and when those additional structures were placed there. You may proceed with the rest of your presentation if you have anything further.
Sure. And I'm presenting the survey report and the structures of the images of the property. And the whole property is like 1.3 acre agricultural single family home, and this is the main house. Yeah. So this whole property is like 1.3 acre agricultural single family home, and this is the main structure. So right now, like I'm requesting approval for the variance for this wood structure as well as like metal shed. So these two are like within the property, but those are like 4 feet away from the boundary line, and this one is like 6 feet away from the boundary line. And when I applied the permit for these structures, like a county engineer notified that I need like minimum 15 feet setback. So that's why like I'm applying for the variance for these structures. And the images of the structure. So this is the metal shed that is located within the property, and this is the ADU structure right next to the metal shed. So I'm requesting variance for these two structures.
Okay. And sir, if you know the adjacent property where those sheds are located, do you know what's on their property directly adjacent to yours?
Yes, those.
Sorry. They do have like a little storage sheds kind of thing, but I think they are movable things.
Okay.
But yeah, the owner, when we got the notice or the citation, we right away reached out to the inspector, and we tried to do everything possible that we could in trying to stay with the regulations and the codes. Like I said, like previous owner had not done any of those permits. So once we found out that we're not in compliance, we try to reach out to every authority and try to be in compliance with. We also reached out to the surrounding neighborhood and the neighbors when we have to send out the mails and trying to see if they have any issue or problems, they can come back over here. But I think our next door neighbor, we reached out to him as well,
Right.
and he said he has no issues at all.
Okay.
So that's what I would like to just conclude.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, make sure to sign in with the clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? I see no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? I see no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Marshall, I did try to check on when those additional structures were built. I didn't see, I couldn't tell based on looking Property Appraiser's website.
Looking at the GIS viewer, the different aerials, the accessory dwelling that shows as a wood shed on the survey, it shows on the 2016 aerial, but it was not on the 2014 aerial. And then the metal shed shows on the 2018 aerial, but was not on the 2017 aerial.
Okay, so they've actually been there quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. That's very helpful. Appreciate that. All right, an applicant, an opportunity for rebuttal?
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. All right. With that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
Next item is item H10, variance 260188. The applicants are Gregory LaChapelle and Sharon Giannotta. The request is a variance to lot development standards, and staff findings will be presented by Michelle Montalbano.
Good morning, Michelle Montalbano, Development Services. The applicant is requesting a setback variance to accommodate a proposed solid roof screen enclosure. The variance is associated with an active building permit to manufacture a solid roof onto the existing screen enclosure. The variance is based on LDC Section 60104A and the parcel zoning district PD 920311, which states a minimum 5-foot side yard setback is required to maintain the minimum 10-foot building spacing for the zero lot line lot as permitted by PD 920311. The variance requested is for 3 feet, resulting in a 2-foot side yard setback to the eastern property boundary. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the applicant, please.
Morning, Board. My name is Sharon Gianta. I'm here with my husband, Greg LaChapelle. We are the property owners at 19411 Golden Slipper Place in Luz. We're requesting approval of a variance to allow the replacement of our existing screen lanai with a new lanai of the exact same size, location, and footprint, with the only modification being the addition of a solid roof with gutters. We have already gone through the proper channels with our Traditions at Villa Rosa HOA and received their approval of our project on October 17th, 2025. The existing lanai has been in place for many years and is located within the same setback area for which the variance is requested. This request does not involve any expansion of the structure, does not move it closer to any property line, and does not increase the degree of nonconformity. The proposed improvement simply allows for the replacement of an aging structure with a more durable and functional one. The situation we're seeking relief from is not self-created, as the lanai and its placement predate our proposed improvements. The variance is the minimum necessary to allow reasonable use of the property while remaining consistent with the intent of the HBC Land Development Code. The purpose of the solid roof is to improve safety, storm protection, and long-term maintenance. The addition of gutters will improve storm water control and help ensure the runoff is properly managed to protect both our home and our neighboring properties. We're aware of the concerns raised by a neighboring property owner regarding potential impacts to sunlight. We respect that concern and would like to clarify that the size, location, and height of the structure will remain unchanged. Because the lanai is not being expanded or relocated, any shading will remain the same as what exists today. In addition, the neighboring home does not have a lanai or a patio in that area, so there are no outdoor living spaces directly affected. A lattice fence covered in shrubbery already exists on the property line between the two homes. This request is consistent with the character of the neighborhood, in which numerous other homes currently have screen lanais with solid roofs in place. The approval of this variance will allow a reasonable improvement to our existing structure while maintaining the intent of the zoning regulations. We respectfully request your approval, and we're happy to answer any questions. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I just have one question for you. Is that you just mentioned that there is lattice work and shrubbery on top of the fence? Can you hear me?
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just mentioned that there's lattice work and shrubbery on top of the fence. Do you know what the... All right, look.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Okay, you mentioned that there is lattice work and shrubbery on top of the fence. Do you know the height of it?
The height of the fence is 5.5 feet.
And do you know, is the lattice work and shrubbery on top of the fence? So it's even higher?
The fence is lattice, and the shrubbery is the whole entire fence and on top.
Okay, so the height of the fence with the lattice work and shrubbery is 5.5 feet?
Yes.
All right, I got it. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you state your address for the record?
I'm sorry?
I need you to state your address for the record, please.
19411 Golden Slipper Place, Lutz.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, at this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application?
We have 2 people online for support.
Okay.
I believe we could start with John.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes?
Okay. I'm John Giannoni. I'm the one of his neighbors and representing the HOA. And I'm on the committees of the Board of Directors. And the HOA was initially reluctant to approve this, but however, with the due diligence of the owners, they provided all the documentation that was necessary. And in particular, we were concerned about the gutters, the water flow. That was already in the proposal, and it is, as a neighbor, I am actually right next to it, and I'm seeing the structure as it is now. It is not disturbing at all. It is well done, and this proposal will do nothing but improve the value of the property, and in addition to that, will also have a better water flow, runoff of storm water. And frankly, if it's going to improve the value of the community and the house, why not? And so I'm in favor of it.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. If you could, for the record, what's the name of the HOA?
It's Traditions, and it's a sub HOA of the main master, which is Villa Rosa.
Okay.
All right. Could you also state your address for the record?
Sure, it is 19413 Golden Slipper Place, Lutz, Florida, 33558.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, and I believe there's another member.
Yes, we have Sandra
online.
Windsor. Online.
Yes, yes, can you hear me? I'm Sandra Windsor.
Yes?
Good morning. Good morning. My address is 19414 Golden Slipper Place. A lot of what I had prepared has been already spoken about, but I wish to speak in support of our neighbors' request to make an improvement to their patio enclosure. In my opinion, an enhancement made by a resident in our community is an enhancement for the whole community. I understand their proposed changes have been approved by our Traditions HOA already, and we do have a strong covenant set of rules in our neighborhood, and we all appreciate that. I understand the improvements include rescreening of existing screen, guttering, and installing a type of roofing over the patio area. My husband and I, along with other Traditions homeowners, have made similar improvements to our patios to make them more useful in inclement and the special weather that our Florida has with the sunshine and rain. At the time that we put our screening on and our porch on and our patio, there was no issues or objections raised by our neighbors. With the plans that have been made by Sharon and Greg, and having engaged a licensed contractor, as I understand, to do the project, I would not object to their application being approved. I think it'll be an improvement to the neighborhood, and I thank you so much for your time.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in support of the application? Is no one responding? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application?
We do have one member virtually.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be Denise. Go ahead, Denise.
Hey, okay, hi. I'm Denise Himes, and I live at 4731 Corsage Drive in the Traditions at Villa Rosa. Yeah, so I just want to go over a few things here. Nobody in this community has a property line that is as close as ours is. So this is a unique situation. So if you need the history as to how this occurred and why we purchased the home, I can give you that information. But I first want to point out that the customer or the applicant does not have a hardship, according to my observation and acknowledgement of reviewing things. I think he's just looking for a special privilege at this point. And to be quite frank, I find this process to be a little unnerving or because of the situation. I sent pictures. You can tell that I only have less than 4 feet in my backyard. They're not going into a yard. If runoff comes, if there's a hurricane, if there's debris flying all over the place, it's just going to go right into my windows, right onto my house, right onto my land, right into my foundation. So I just don't understand why you guys don't see all this prior to this meeting. And I'm concerned about fire concerns. But let me go in order. So my next contention here is the board. I think they're all in collusion, the HOA board, the HOA management team, and my neighbors apparently are all in collusion with this because nobody communicated with me. This has been going on since August, and not one person gave me the opportunity to speak on my behalf because I'm the only affected property in the neighborhood that's going to be most affected by this. Plus, let me catch my breath. There are no large screen lanais in the entire community that have a roof on their lanai that is as large as this one and as high. This is a 12-inch pitch. There's going to be 3 different slabs or whatever panels. It's going to be a hurricane disaster. It's going to be things falling into my home. It's going to be a water drainage issue. I mean, I can just go on and on. It's going to be a noise issue. It's going to be a tin roof. I don't know what to say. It's a fire hazard. I called the fire marshal department. They didn't return my call. I actually called the number just to get further clarity on numerous things. And they told me I had to speak to Michelle, even at the zoning division. I was trying to speak to somebody there to find out what's going on. Why are we at this level? And just to be clear, you're saying the HOA approved. They did not approve it. It's with stipulations, clearly. And it's very odd that you guys approved it. There's clearly something going on here that's not cool. That's a little shady as far as I'm concerned. So with all that said, there's a huge negative impact on my home. You're acting like yours is going to improve your property. Well, you're going to highly negatively impact my property's value. Also, insurance. My insurance may have to go up because of the slope of your roof going right into my home, not my yard, into my home. This 2-inch variance is going right directly on the fence line, which has shrubs on it that I cut off my side and pushed them over to his side because I don't want them on my side. But yes, there's that's the way it should be. I don't even want the shrubs. But anyway, there's no room. So I'm trying to figure out why we're even here having this conversation. Can I ask that question?
Ma'am,
Under the circumstances, because my home is just too close to the property line. And let me give you a history, first of all. When we purchased the home, my husband and I, in December 2000, we were going to put a screened-in lanai ourselves until Daniel Pitts and his wife, Rebecca Pitts, that purchased the property that the new applicant owns. He purchased it in, I guess, October of 2014. They came hushing around saying, oh, no, you can't put a thing in it, because he worked for the builder. He worked for Westfield Homes, the trim master. He's a trimmer. And apparently, at the last minute, we had a back-to-back closing. We sold our house in Carrollwood to move here. So it was a very, very stressful situation. It was very last minute. And so we said, okay, well, I guess there's nothing we can do. So we had to take the 2-inch or whatever variance they took at that time. They took our land. They literally took our land. We were not happy about it. We were in a situation that we had to close. We had a back-to-back closing, and we weren't going to go run away. So anywho, to have all these people defend this project is just ridiculous. I've been in the neighborhood for over 25 years, and it's clearly something's not cool. So there's going to be loss of light, there's going to be mold, there's going to be all kinds of things. So I don't know how far I can go. I guess I've never been in one of these situations.
Right, but your testimony is clear. I have your comments on the record.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I do, because I'm just really concerned about the process here, because everything I'm reading is like, I have to get an attorney. I have to get an engineer out there to prove my case. And I find this to be so obvious that I'm having a nervous breakdown over it. I don't understand. So I can't figure this out, that the zoning wouldn't speak to me when I called them. There's even a number that they say, oh, you can call this number. The zoning counselor said, oh, no, you need to speak to Michelle. She's above my pay grade or whatever. And I'm just like, well, and then I called the fire marshals, and they never returned my call to find out about the fire issues that could be happening, and hurricane, and there's so many variables for a 224 square foot screen lanai that not one is not conforming with the community. So for the HOA to have approved this without my consultation, without even consulting with me, is illegal. Let me find out what I found. I looked it up online. It specifically says in our articles that the architectural controls, section 2, the procedure all applicants for the AC, the procedures for the approval at all times must offer any affected owner with a reasonable prior notice and a reasonable opportunity to be heard in person. And nobody communicated with me. Nobody came to me until the variance sign was up. Then my neighbor came running to my home. After I got home from the grocery store, I had bacon in my hands. And I said, what's going on? He goes, oh, I just wanted to let you know that we have, I was like, yeah, I was definitely going to go look into that after I put my groceries away. But anyway, that was the only time I found out.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Let me see if there's anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak in opposition. See no one responding? Staff, anything further?
I have one more thing to say.
Ma'am, I've got your testimony on record. We're good. Thank you. Can I staff anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. Applicant, an opportunity for rebuttal.
Yes, I'd like to say a couple things. Number one, when you apply for an ARC in our community, it's presented at the monthly board meeting. So anyone that attends the monthly board meeting has the opportunity at that time to speak up against any requested ARCs. So number one. Number two, there are numerous homes in our community with the same situation. I could read you 5 of them right off the top of the list that are viewable from the street. One right across from us, 19409 Golden Slipper Place, has a very, very similar situation in their backyard as far as the distance between the houses. 4601 Corsage Drive, same situation. 4623 Corsage Drive, same situation. All of these homes have the same situation in their backyard, and all of these homes have large screened-in lanais as well. So in closing, we just want to say we're simply asking for this variance to replace an old lanai in the same location and the same size, so we can make a reasonable and long-term improvement to our home. We're not asking to expand or change the footprint in any way, merely to add a roof with a slight pitch. This request represents the minimum release necessary, and in fact, the gutters that we're installing will improve the drainage between our home and our neighbors by directing the runoff away from the homes, unlike what is the situation now. We've been thoughtful of our neighbors and believe the proposal remains compatible with the neighborhood and consistent with the intent of the code. We've already requested and received approval from our traditions at the Villa Rosa HOA through the proper channels. We respectfully ask for your approval, and we truly appreciate your consideration. Thank you so much again.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. With that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're ready for the next item.
This brings us to Section I, Special Uses. Item I-1, Special Use 260225. The applicant is Maria Rodriguez. The request is a special use 2 COP alcoholic beverage permit with separation waivers. Chris Granlenard will provide staff findings after presentation by the applicant.
Okay, applicant, please. Good morning.
Turn it on. Good morning. My name is Terry Haley. I reside at 108 Clock Tower Drive, number 160 in Brandon, 33510. I am an agent representing the applicant, and basically we're just asking, we're requesting a 2 COP alcoholic beverage license in conjunction with an existing restaurant. This allows for beer and wine sales. The restaurant itself has been there going on 1.5 years, and it's proven that, you know, from request of customers, whatever, it would add a amenity to their business for their patrons to complement their meal with a beer or maybe some sangria or wine. In requesting this license, and through our survey, we've determined that we need to request some distance waivers. One of the waivers falls under the residential. It requests that the closest residential should be at least 150 feet away. In our case, it's 126.2 feet. To justify this, the location of the restaurant is on a busy corner, one of the busiest in Hillsborough County. It is West Waters and Havana, and it is on the west, towards the southwest corner of those roads. So it is a commercial district being on these busy roads, but around it and behind it are communities, residential communities. So there's plenty of commercial. It's nothing new. We're not breaking into an area that's not developed or anything. So the separations, even though it falls under the 150 feet, there's natural buffers, there's trees, there's fences, there's walls. And like I say, it's not like we're all of a sudden plopping a commercial establishment in the middle of residential. So they opted, the neighborhoods are behind and pretty much around the whole thing. So that's it on the residential side. Then there's also a distance requirement for community organizations and such. And in our case, there are 2 churches, okay? One church is located to the north of the property, and that makes it on the north side of Waters Avenue. And that distance for the, let me see, it is the Oak Grove Methodist Church, their distance is 184 feet. Our justification there, again, it's a well-traveled, very busy area. It does measure at 184 feet, but if you talk about the necessity to either walk to or from or travel in a vehicle, in doing so and breaking the medians, crossing the parking lots, crossing the main roads and stuff, it generates an area which is much more, or a distance that is much more than 500 feet. That's the first one. Basically, it's the same defense on the second community service, which is also a church. It is located south of the proposed premise, and It measures 384 feet. Again, we're asking for a waiver, which is just shy of 500. But again, you have streets to talk about, you have foliage, you have sidewalks, you have crosswalks again. So traveling to and from, or these two different destinations, it's well over the 500 feet, whether you're walking, bicycling, vehicle, wherever. So again, our request is just for a 2 COP beer and wine license in conjunction with a restaurant with sale for on-premise consumption only.
Okay, thank you, sir. And sir, I get you to sign in, please. Okay, and staff?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chris Gralinar, planner with Development Services. I'm presenting special use application, beverage permit application 26225 for La Esquina Sabrosa restaurant located at 2730 West Waters Avenue. The request is for a 2-COP classification, allowing beer and wine sales for on and off premises consumption. The property is zoned commercial neighborhood, which supports the proposed use. The applicant seeks waivers from standard distance separation requirements from a community use. The required 500 feet is reduced to 184 feet from Oak Grove United Methodist Church and 384 feet from the Faith Baptist Church. From the residentially zoned property, the required 250 feet is reduced to approximately 126 feet. Staff reviewed the request under LDC section 6.11.11.e.3, which allows waivers where unique circumstances negate the necessity for strict distance requirements. Given the commercial character of the area, physical buffers, and the nature of the business, staff finds the impacts minimal. Recommendation, staff finds the request approval for the 2-COP permit with the requested waivers for a wet zone footprint of 2,762 square feet. Glad to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? See no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further.
Okay, applicant opportunity for rebuttal.
No rebuttal, but I apologize. Did I go out of order there?
No, you're
Did I go out of order there?
No,
Should
sir.
he have gone first?
No,
and then me?
sir, you're fine.
Okay, I apologize if I bucked the system there.
That's okay. All right, with that, that concludes this application. Ms. Marshall, we're at a point where we will return to one we held in abeyance earlier.
Yes, H1 variance 251312. The applicant is here now.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay, does staff want to present the, I guess you did, it was on the record?
Yes.
Right. Okay, at this point in time, the applicant?
Yes, good morning. My name is Luis Alonso. I live in 1103 Terramar Drive, Tampa, Florida 33613. But in my conduct, speak George Camarota that work with me.
Hi, good morning. My name is Jorge Camarota, 7345 Abonado Road. I'm here to help her because her English is not that good and she feels a little bit ill at the moment, so to make her life a little bit easier. So we're here for the property located at 6802 Rosewood Court. The variance is for reduction of on the setbacks for the porches, section 6.01.03.8.7. The proposed porch, which is existing at the moment, will be located at 8.2 feet from West Elm Street. And the requested variance is for 6.8 feet from the required 15-foot porch setback to allow the porch to sit at 8.2 feet. It is also good to note that this property and the lot itself, the property is a non-conforming structure. If you go from the property line to the actual setback that needs to be met is 25 feet. The 25-feet line falls way over the actual structure. So there is many things at this case. So we're still requesting the variance for the porch, but we just wanted to let know that this was another issue that arose when we were doing the investigation for this variance.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point in time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? And if I could get you both to sign in with the clerk. Again, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak in support of the application? See no one responding. Anyone in the audience wish to speak in opposition to the application?
We do have one member online in opposition. That would be Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
Hello, my name is Scott Gonzalez. My address is 5820 North Church Avenue. I'm the current president of the Town and Country Park Civic Association. And I want to speak specifically against Section 5 of the applicant's variance criteria response on 2 points. One, that they state that the code enforcement complaint that has been adjudicated and the encroachment in the setback is not the result of intentional wrongdoing or negligent action, and that it also, approval of this variance would preserve the neighborhood character and minimize any negative impact. I did provide some attachments. They are online in optics. I don't need to display them now, but I will describe them for you. The first is a letter that basically includes what I'm about to go through now, and the second, _1, is a collection of photographs from the county's aerial survey history going back, starting with 2008 to the 2010 window. During that time, a significant renovation was made on the west side of the house without a permit. In the timeline from 2016 to 2017, an entrance was added on the second floor on the west side of the house with a staircase added in the period from 2018 to 2019. A porch was added to the south side of the house. This was the first of 2 porches constructed in the setback. This was a flat roof porch visible on the March 1st, 2019 aerial survey. And from the period 2019 to January 2020, the swimming pool in the backyard was filled in. No permit was filed for that either. In 2020, between January 2020 and March 2021, a 900 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath house was built in the backyard, and the exterior staircase on the back of the house, primary residence, was removed. The property owner started the ADU application process for this building, but they came up against some stop work orders for building permits, and they proceeded to complete construction anyway, and then get the permits after the fact. Occupancy was issued for the ADU approximately 2022. In the period from 2024 to July 2020, February 2024 to July 2024, the flat roof porch of the setback in question was replaced with a peak roof porch. No permit for that either. Additionally, in attachment Gonzalez _2, I have some aerial photography from January 7, 2025. It shows the property as it basically exists today, and you'll note the outlines of many different fenced segmented areas in the backyard that I believe in addition to the detached accessory dwelling, indicate that the primary residence has probably been subdivided into multiple attached accessory dwelling units, including in the setback in question. The reason that they want a porch on the in the setback is because that lower level of the split level ranch has been most likely turned into a standalone apartment. In that attachment, you'll also see some photography that was taken by the code enforcement officer on this April 4th, 2024 site visit, and a photograph that was taken October 15, 2025. Note the fences around the property are lettered with different numbers indicating different apartments. Finally, I've attached a copy of the property owner's owner-builder disclosure statement from the construction of the detached ADU, in which they state that the, in exchange for exemptions on certain permits, that the construction would be for the occupancy or use of the owners and not for sale or lease. That document's signed by the property owner. And so I move to my arguments. The first, regarding the alleged or statement from the applicant that this was not the result of intentional wrongdoing or negligent action by the applicant. Well, based on the record of the property visible from the aerial survey and the lack of permits for multiple different construction projects, I'd say that there's a pattern here of unpermitted construction that continued with this peak roof porch in question. And to the point about that acceptance of this variance would be in the interest of preserving the neighborhood character and minimizing any negative impact, I would say that, and on behalf of the Civic Association, that what we'd like to see is single-family residence. And that's the neighborhood character that we're looking for, not subdividing single-family residences into multiple apartments, particularly when they are not owner-occupied as required for an accessory dwelling unit. That concludes my comments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
One more thing, I just wanted to clarify that it's the recommendation of both myself as a resident and of the Civic Association, which voted as a board on this, that we recommend that you deny this variance request. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Sir, have you met with Development Services staff to discuss these broader issues that in part are outside the scope of today's variance hearing?
Not on this particular property, no.
Okay. I mean, a lot of the comments that you've made, just so you know, are a little bit outside the scope of the variance hearing. But point well taken. They're on the record, and we understand the concerns of yourself and the Town and Country Civic Association. Anyone else in the audience that wish to speak in opposition to the application? See no one responding. Staff, anything further?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Let me ask you as well. Have you met with anybody in this neighborhood about these larger issues?
No.
Okay. All right. The applicant, an opportunity for rebuttal.
We just want to say that our presence here is just for the side porch, not the other issues that have been brought up. So that's all we're gonna say now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. With that, that concludes this application, and that concludes this morning's Land Use Hearing Officer hearing. We are adjourned.